and welcome to today's episode of The Best of You. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be talking about the importance of eating healthy. It's a topic I'm sure you've discussed time and again, but we all know the overall benefits of eating healthy. It contributes to our well-being, and it helps us in so many other ways, such as boosting our immune system, helping with weight management, even increasing our energy levels. But the question is, exactly what do we eat and how do we prepare it? And we're going to be looking at the how-tos and discussing a few other things as well. On today's episode, I have with me my sister, Uneku, and she is a chef and event planner at Kana Kitchen and Events, and she has a wealth of knowledge she will be sharing with us today. Hi, Uneku.
Hi, Auntie J.
How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Now, the age-old question, what should I be eating to maintain a healthy diet and a productive lifestyle? One of the questions I want to start off asking you is, why do many people struggle with eating healthy? You know, they might do it at home, but when they get to work, they resort to fast food, or when they travel, they end up eating other things they may not normally have.
Thank you, Auntie J. So I would say there are so many reasons why we struggle to eat healthy, to build that lifestyle, because it's a lifestyle.
Yes.
But I think for today, I'll just focus on a few that, stand out for me, and just from my own research that kind of hinder our ability to go on this journey of a healthy eating lifestyle. And one would be the wrong mindset. Many of us have the wrong mindset about doing things. Just eating healthy is like anything else you want to incorporate in your life, anything you want to do, right? So if you believe already I can't do it, it's not going to be possible. I can't start it. Don't forget, I've been like 30 years eating what I like, and now you're asking me to eat healthy. Forget it, right? So already you've set yourself up to fail, right? Because your mind is not even going to help you achieve that. So definitely wrong mindset, and only each individual will know what their mindset is. Another big thing is that we don't have knowledge. We don't know where to get information. We see even though we're in an age of knowledge, so to speak, there's a lot of bombardment. Some people are coming out and giving false information, different things. Today, here, this diet, that diet. So I would say also lack of information. One big one would be lack of proper planning. People don't plan. You don't just start something today and say, I want to do it without planning ahead. You are setting yourself up to fail. You may go fast at first, but because you didn't put a plan in place, you probably will not be able to continue.
And planning is key, isn't it?
Planning is, it's a big one. It's a big one. And then I'll say just two more things that, can hinder us when it comes to eating healthy is support. If you don't have the proper support, a big one in terms of people around you. Are they encouraging you? Are they pessimistic? And some people sadly actually want you to fail. And you'll find someone actually offering you things when you say, I'm not drinking. No, you can drink it, give it to her, right? So I've expressed things like that, right? So the people, if you don't have the support, and support can be money, it can be people, and a number of things. But I'll say those are the key things for me right now that can hinder your progress when it comes to eating healthy.
So have a good support system.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you decide you are going to be eating more whole foods, more vegetables, get your family on board.
As much as you can.
As much as you can. Let them help you prepare the meal.
Yes.
Share the meal with them.
Yes.
And that sort of thing as well.
Yes.
Fantastic. So how can we set up ourselves for success?
Okay.
Practically speaking.
Okay. So there are a number of ones, some of them still tie into the hindrances.
Right.
The first one is have the right mindset. I won't talk too much about that, but for each person, it can be different. Your mindset can be different. See, people who had maybe diseases that they were healed of, whether it was medically or a miracle, they'll tell you that many times they saw there was a reason to eat healthy, because a lot of times diseases can stem from our lack of healthy eating, right?
True.
So one thing is your mindset. Whatever your reason is, just make sure you have the right mindset. It will help you. Two is, what's your goal? What's your purpose? You can have the right mindset, but where are you going?
Right.
Some people want to eat healthy because they want to be alive for their children. I don't want to die and not take care of my children. That's a big one. So we don't all have the same reasons. But I think the problem is when you meet people and you can't run on someone else's reason. So you need your own goal and your own reason for why you're doing it. So that's a big one. I think for me, I would say one of my reasons for eating healthy is I realized that, you know what, healthy food actually tastes good. It was just along the way.
Yes.
I think for me, pregnancy helped a lot. I was always someone that was interested in eating variety of foods. I never really was big on just the usual food. So I always used to try and test stuff. Going to cooking school exposed me to a lot. And then pregnancy, when I realized during pregnancy that what I ate was so important for my baby, because I lost like 10 kgs at some point, and I had to start specifically looking for what do I need to eat that can stay and give my baby just enough nutrients.
Yes.
I then started seeing the effect. And so I think because I built that habit over an 18-month, because 2 pregnancies built that habit, it was hard to go back.
Right.
I started seeing some foods were really not helping me. So I'll say yes, a big one is your why. A third way you set yourself up for success is prepare and plan. You have to plan. If you don't plan, if you don't prepare, if you don't put plan B, plan A, because we need grace. There are times where you're going to stumble, where you break your habit, but if you have a plan, you can fall back on it. And what that plan can look like is proper budgeting.
Yes.
So, because eating healthy is expensive sometimes.
That is true.
And if you don't do proper research, you don't know how to save and where to go about it, right? So proper planning can include your budget, plan ahead. It includes research. You need to get information. How do you go about it? Read, find out ways. Okay, what are the things that I need to eat? That's where, nutrition comes in.
Yes.
What foods actually carry the nutrients that I need, right? So that's a big one. So proper planning is necessary to eat healthy. Another big one to eating healthy is definitely you want to be able to, I use this way, stock your kitchen or plan for what you're going to start eating, right? And so stock your kitchen means, okay, you've done your planning, you figured out, okay, these are the foods that will give me the best, the nutrients that I need. Then you want to go ahead and buy those things, okay? And it's based on also, which is where we'll mix in recipe planning and then getting the ingredients. Because if you just go and get ingredients, you know what you're going to do with them.
Right.
So yeah, but you want to stock your kitchen with healthy foods, very important. It means that they're at your fingertips.
Exactly.
But if you have them there already, then you're not wondering, you have to go to the store and go and buy like an avocado.
Right.
So it's really important to stock yourself up with the right food. So for me, for example, my grocery list always includes, there are things that I just take off my list. They're there like constant. Even sometimes your store suggests it to you.
Yeah.
I know that I always have my nuts. Nuts are a common thing in my house. They're there, I go pick them. When I'm looking, can I go and eat the chocolate? And not that I don't eat chocolate, but when I'm craving the sugar, okay, no, not today. I go and get my nuts, right? So there are things that you just stock up on. They're always there. It helps you a lot. So stocking up helps. And then the big one for me, which is, because I'm not a nutritionist, I've just learned about this because I'm on that journey myself, would be recipe planning. I feel this is where many of us struggle. So I'll talk a bit here. Many people don't eat healthy because healthy food, let's be honest, a lot of the food that is healthy is not very palatable,
And you have to also make a lot of things from scratch.
Yes.
And today it's easier to go and buy food from somewhere and eat, and you're not exactly sure of the ingredients. So there is something to be said for recipe planning and knowing what's in your food and taking the time to prepare it for yourself, even though you may not always have the time to do so, but as much as possible. Yeah.
So you're right, Auntie J. It's really key because a lot of the things that even people say are healthy out there, the truth is that when you think about food, the food they call real food is live, living food. I've heard someone say, a nutritionist say living food. Living food is food that, the nutrients are still in there. Once you take food and you shelve it or you cook it and you keep it in your fridge, it's not living anymore. Process it. The nutrients start depleting, right? So living food, it's really hard for someone to tell you that something is living, but they've gone and put it on the shelf, right? So, but yes, those things still help to a certain extent. But the truth is that you would need to learn, which is why I say you need to give yourself grace and plan ahead. For example, when I wanted to learn to start making my son's applesauce, because applesauce was a very common thing I was reading about, okay, how do I feed my toddler, things I can give them. I saw that people were just selling it in the store, parents were just buying, but I knew for me, I want to feed my child healthy was an intentional choice. So I went and took my time. There's a lady I follow, because I also used to blog about food, and I saw how she made applesauce from scratch. So I took my time, it took time to learn it, to practice it. And then I was able to make it. So I didn't need to go out and buy applesauce, but that took learning,
Yes.
practicing, and then it became a reality in my home where it's just like a little pup. I bring apple juice, applesauce, I give it to him,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So that's one of the ways.
And if I might interject, I also did something similar. I normally like to drink lemon water. And you know, in the store, they sell the bottles of concentrated lemon.
Yes.
And I had an encounter with someone who made her own lemon juice for the lemon water and bought her own lemons, squeezed them, and just kept them in the fridge. And I said, well, I can do that.
Yes.
So I went and I got my lemons, you know, squeezed them myself. And now I have natural lemon water that I can drink anytime I want.
Yes. And see, that was exposure. You found
Yes.
someone who knew it.
Yeah.
Oh, so I can actually do this. And sometimes I think it's just people don't even know
True.
that they can do these things. But if you don't go and research,
Yeah.
you won't find out, right? So in terms of the recipe planning, so what I would say on that, in terms of that plan, you would need to really decide ahead. And I say when it comes to recipe planning, start with what you like or what you're already used to. Many of us rush and go and get things like, it's just like me. A radish never worked for me. Like I was in cooking school. We did radishes, salads, but I'm like, you know what? I bought it like 3 times. I think I bought 3 times across time.
Yeah.
My husband was like, Nick, we're trying this out today, right? He didn't eat it again. So he kept warning me, don't buy this thing again if you're not going to eat. And I just realized radish doesn't work, forget it.
Right.
But what else can give me something apart from a radish, you know? So one, you need to start with things you like. I like avocado. I'm used to spinach. I'm used to what we call in Nigeria, I call it F4, but here it's like spinach.
Yes.
I love kale already. So I started with the things I already know and like. I like nuts. Okay, let me try them, right? So when you start with things you like, then you can start making recipes based on those things. Then you start building from it. So I would say for recipe planning, look for healthy food, what I call them food items or foods that you actually like. Start with them, then look for recipes. What recipe can I make with an avocado? Like an avocado smoothie, for example, is like an avocado, right? Then even something like a kale. They're really nice kale salads. You can do kale chips.
Oh, yes.
And, you know, so just look for things you like. Start with them. You build up. Your palate also gets used to those things.
Yeah.
Then you can begin to add to them. In my home, something that's a staple for us now, because I make it so often, is like my salad dressing and my salad. So I don't buy salad dressing from the store anymore. I just make mine. I shake it, store it in my little glass thing, and it's there to pour. But it took a number of years of planning, but it's so common that I don't need salad dressing.
You're used to it now.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very true. So start with what you know, then move into the unknown.
You can then move into the unknown, you know, if you need to. And
Right.
I would say something just to add to that, and to Jay's, you actually said it, that, you know, carrying your family along to support you. Except you're single, you know, and you live by yourself, so you have little influence in what and how you eat. I find that food is the Bible talks about temptation. When God told Adam, ask Adam, don't eat that fruit. If you eat that fruit, this will happen, right? The lust of the eyes. And, you know, Adam went ahead and today we are here because, you know,
Of
thank
all
God
of
for
that.
Jesus
Yeah.
for eating something we're not supposed to eat. So this appetite needs to be reined in. But what I would say is that you find temptation when it comes to food. You know, I don't know if you've ever fasted.
Yeah.
Suddenly you were not hungry. Like you can go a day and not eat. And then the day you say you want to fast at 9 a.m., the smell of your neighbor's thing just enters your nose and you're like,
Yes, let's
Right?
talk about the role of fasting,
Yes.
even intermittent fasting, because I hear that that's a thing now for certain people in certain circles. Intermittent fasting helps with controlling your body weight and just your overall well-being as well. There's a spiritual benefit, but then there's also the physical benefit of it as well.
Yeah. So I think for fasting, I'll talk for myself more from a spiritual perspective because it's a journey that I'm still going on.
Right.
But I noticed that when I started fasting, I don't think anybody naturally moves towards fasting because we want to eat and we like our food.
Yes.
And I heard someone say like 2 days ago, funny enough, that why do you eat? He was asking, and people were like, oh, hunger. And he was looking, he was a pastor, and he's like, no. And he said, no, you eat actually. The reason you eat, no, they said to survive. And he said, no, you don't eat to survive. You eat because of the hunger pangs. That survival is the result of eating. So he says, for example, when you fast for a while, you notice after a while, the pangs die down for a while. Then at some point, you now start to see where you're losing strength. But the reason really that we eat is just hunger, not because we want to survive. That's the result. So when fasting comes into play, I think for me, what I learned was through fasting, self-control.
Yes.
That, you know, I can actually control no, food, you're not going to talk to me. I'm talking to you. I'm not eating you today. Like, stay there, you know?
Do you know that that is so key? Now that you're mentioning it, that self-control is very important because I think that's where some people need to work on. They lose control, and then sometimes food is a comfort, which you're going through something or something is happening in your life, and then people automatically turn to food as a comfort mechanism, which is okay. But yeah, self-control.
So yes, so definitely fasting, self-control was a big one for me, and just made me realize that I'm in control of my life, not food, right? And you should be in control of your life, right? I think there was a day I'd fasted, just the day before, and it was a dry fast. I hadn't eaten anything, I hadn't drank water. And then the next day, like I finished, I was of course excited, yay, I can eat now. And I remember that night I'd eaten, and I went downstairs to get something, and I felt the need to go and pick up something else and eat. I'm like, wait, why are you picking this right now? You're not hungry, just want to eat it. And I remember, didn't you just like literally survive like a dry fast some days ago? So you actually have the strength to not pick this thing. And that was empowering for me. But you know, I'll tell that again, I think that was just God teaching me self-control, even food you can. So in that moment, I didn't eat wrong. I didn't eat at 11 p.m. and go to sleep and then mess my stomach up, right? So a big one, I'll say that's one way. Another thing about fasting is that fasting also is healthy. There's a process called I might not say it right, please. Don't go by me, but I think it's AUTOPHAGY. So that's autophagy or
something.
Yeah, please. People can check it out.
We'll check it out and we'll let you know the pronunciation.
It literally means that when you fast for a certain period of time, your cells, the good cells in your body, start to eat the bad cells. And this is proven science.
Wow.
And so when your body rests, and okay, you're not giving me food and making us work. Now, what next can we do? Oh, bad cell, there you are. Let's eat you up. And it actually happens that they go after those things and you feel refreshed.
Amazing.
So really it helps. So those are some things that fasting does for us. But for me, I would say the biggest thing fasting has done for me is it's shown me I can actually grow in self-control when it comes to my food. What I eat and how I eat it and when I eat it.
Very true. Very true. And we're going to be looking at some recipes to get us started. So we encourage you viewers to stay with us. In fact, join us in our next episode when we will be cooking and mixing and putting wonderful snacks together that you can also make and use and enjoy in your everyday life. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.